On the 83rd episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking a bunch about some MLB news and updates. The NFL playoffs are getting hot. We're going to be ranking the top 5 NFL game times and ending it off with some Hall of Fame. Yay or nay, make sure you use code HatTrick Sports when checking out at w.gg for 10% off your order. Roll it!
Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast.
We are going to get started here first with some MLB news. The federal BI, the FBI, did release voice recordings of Ippe Mizuhara, an absolute loser. They released voice recordings of him impersonating Shohei Ohtani into wiring himself money for a car payment, $200,000 for a friend that he's possibly going to talk to again. A whole thing. I listened to the Ippe voice recording that the FBI put out, and Ippe is just a horrible guy. Sure, you can blame it on the gambling addiction. You can blame it on the gambling addiction, but he's just not a good guy. Impersonating the greatest baseball player of all time into millions of dollars is not okay and whatsoever. He took the plea deal, so he is facing up to, I believe, 57 months in jail, which is about 4 3/4 of a year, which is a lot of time, but not enough time for taking advantage of your best friend, the person that's paying you a whole bunch of money without being scammed or anything like that. You have a great job and your best friend, and yeah, just not a good guy at all. So yes, the FBI released the audio. You can go listen to it for yourself. Now, for all the naysayers that were saying that, oh, this is just a cover-up for Ohtani. Ohtani's the real gambler in the situation. He's the one that should be thrown in jail. Yeah, well, now we have proof that it wasn't Ohtani. So I'm glad that the FBI released that. And yes, like I said, the feds are now seeking up to 57 months sentence for Ippe. Not good for Ippe. I say you give him longer. Scammed him into millions of dollars, taking advantage of what I have seen so far. One of the nicest guys in the MLB, and the best guy in the MLB. So not good for Ippe. It has been announced that it was about 24 times that Ippe impersonated Ohtani over the phone to different banks and loans and stuff like that. Ippe is just not a good guy at all. I don't know how many times we're going to say that. And I think we already kind of knew this, but he placed over 19,000 bets within 2 years with this what
are they called? Off the gambling bookmaker. Over 19,000 bets within 2 years off of the booker. So yeah, not good for Ippe. I think his lawyers are wanting him to spend 18 months in jail just because they're going to use the excuse that he has a gambling addiction, which, hey, obviously he does, but that doesn't justify the reason of stealing millions and millions of dollars from the greatest baseball player of all time and taking advantage that he doesn't really speak the language and taking advantage of his accountants and the IRS and all of this other stuff. Ippe's not a good guy. He deserves all 57 of those months in jail, and I'm sure they're gonna love him in jail. Let's talk about the Paul Skenes 101 card. It was found on Christmas morning, and a really cool story about that. So an 11-year-old found it, which is that changes that little boy's life. So basically, I read the note. There's like a 2.5-page note that he basically wrote down in a notebook. So basically, he wanted these cards. He wanted the new Topps cards, and his parents were like, yeah, we'll get them. The parents didn't have time to get them and kind of forgot about them, and were like, and the prices were just going to go up. So they were like, yeah, on Black Friday, the prices are going to go down, which did not happen, obviously, because of the high demands. The cards did not go down in price too much. So they were like, yeah, we'll get them for whatever. So they end up getting them. They get it anyway because he made it very obvious that he begged for them. And to the parents' surprise, it was definitely worth the beg. So the kid begged his parents for these cards. He got them. He got them for Christmas. Him and his two brothers opened packs. And the pack that this kid opened changed his life forever. He had the possession of a 1/1 Paul Skenes card, but it was a redemption card. So Topps didn't really release the patched card, the debut patch card, because of the high demand and the worth of this card and everything like that. So basically what it is, it's a regular baseball card, except it has a picture of the card that he can redeem. So he has the card, he can redeem it with Topps, and he'll get that card. And so yes, the Pirates and Livy Dunn offered him Pirates offer for Skenes card. I don't remember all the details, but the Pirates offered him 2 Pirate season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years. Keep in mind, this kid is from LA, so obviously he's not going to watch. He could sell them, pretty much. He could sell the behind the plates, the 2 behind home plate tickets for the next 30 years. He could do that, which is probably what he would do. Along with the meet and greet with Paul Skenes, 2 Paul Skenes signed jerseys, Pirates game with Livy Dunn in her suite, so he gets to go into, I think it's Paul Skenes' suite, and then Livy Dunn, like, basically just stays in there, obviously. And then a whole bunch more. He gets, like, 30, he could have 30 people in a softball chair match. Let me go to their Instagram, because I remember exactly, it had all the details there. Let me go to Pittsburgh Pirates. So basically, he denied all of that. He was like, no, I'm not interested in that. So yes, the offer was the Pirates received the 1 card, obviously, because that's going to go into the Hall of Fame or whatever. Whatever the Pirates ended up, we're going to do with it. But the kid would have gotten 2 Pirate season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years, a meet and greet with Paul Skenes, 2 Paul Skenes autographed jerseys, softball game for 30 at PNC Park. With coaching from Pirates alumni, Andrew McCutcheon. You could get some actually really cool guys with that. Private tour of Pirate City and the park. Pirates game with Livy Dunn in her suite, courtesy of Livy. She basically offered that with that. And the kid was smart. Now, I'm sure it wasn't really the kid's decision. It was either the parents or lawyers or... This is a lot of money you're working with. But the Dodgers did offer the Shohei Ohtani 50-50 ball, which, not to brag, I was there at that game. Still the greatest moment in sports in my life that I've ever been to. And the Dodgers obviously offered money for that ball, and Golden auctioned it off for a bunch times more than what the Dodgers were offering. So, smart for the kid to put it up for auction. I'm sure it's going to go through Golden auctions. And, yeah, I can't wait to see what that gets. It's a really cool story. It's a really cool, cool experience. Again, this 11-year-old will probably never forget this. It's really cool. And it also said in that note that the kid wrote that he did go along with his Christmas, got to see his family and stuff. If I'm opening that card, I'm probably canceling plans for Christmas and probably just freaking out. So, yes, that kid's life did change forever. But look at the card is just beautiful. It's a signed 1/1 rookie Paul Skenes MLB debut patch card. Paul Skenes is one of the greatest rookie pitchers we have seen in a very, very long time. It just looks like a really cool card. And it's smart for Topps. It was graded PSA 10/10 because it got graded so quickly because it was the redemption. So I'm sure what they did is that Topps sent them the card. Or Topps had it already like through PSA or something like that and already graded and stuff like that. And yeah, really, really cool experience. Obviously won't take the Pirates offer. Will go up for auction, the story, and yeah, it's good for the young lad. More MLB news. Ichiro Suzuki, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. I'm going to go over his stats one more time just to prove why he should have been unanimous in first ballot Hall of Famer Suzuki stats. So, basically, Ichiro was part of the 2025 Hall of Fame class, as he should be, and obviously he was going to go first ballot Hall of Famer along with CC Sabathia and stuff like that. So yes, he was the first ballot Hall of Famer, but there's only one guy who There's only one guy who has been a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer, and that is Mariano Rivera. And a lot of sports writers are like, no, that club is reserved just for him, which is not, that should not be a thing at all. But Ichiro Suzuki, obviously now a Hall of Famer. He won an MVP, 10-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger, Rookie of the Year, 10-time Gold Glove, 2-time batting title, just all sorts of stuff. 60 wins above replacement. Didn't make his debut until he was 27 years old because he came from Japan. He led the league in games played a whole bunch of times, wins above replacement, plate appearances a whole bunch of times at bats, hits, stolen bases, batting average, intentional walks, all sorts of stuff. Should have been unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer, but there's one guy, there's one voter that should not be a voter that voted, that did not vote for him first ballot, which is absolutely mind-boggling. How does that even happen? How is there a guy that does not think that Ichiro should be a first ballot Hall of Famer? So, obviously the guy has not officially come out yet because he is going to get absolutely hammered. There will be bounties on his head. This guy is going to get tore up if he comes out that he did not vote for Ichiro Suzuki. But there is a way to kind of narrow down who we know did or did not vote for Ichiro Suzuki. So I believe, unless they changed it this year, at the bottom of the ballot, there's a little checkbox. Like, do you want your votes to become public within, like, after 14 days of the ballots being cast, or something like that. And if you mark yes, it will become public, and we will see who voted for Ichiro. And if you say no, then it won't become public, but they still can, like, take a picture and provide the media if they voted for Ichiro or not. So, again, in the next week or so, we will be able to narrow down who did vote for Ichiro and who didn't. And I say, like, hey, I'm going to say that you didn't vote for Ichiro unless you make your ballot public. Like, I don't see a way that, like, to justify it. Like, if you don't make it public of who you voted for, then I don't know that you didn't vote for Ichiro. And again, if you didn't vote for Ichiro for the first ballot, I don't know what you're thinking. You're going to have to come out eventually. There'll be ways to narrow it down to a few guys, and we'll know within a few guys, and then guys are just going to keep hammering them more and more and more until they get it out of these guys if they voted for Ichiro or not. But this one guy, one vote away. Derek Jeter was also one vote away, but I think Suzuki was better than Derek Jeter, especially defensively. And just wild that he wasn't unanimous. Just crazy to me. And yeah, it's just not right at all. Let's talk about the Dodgers projected to sign Alex Bregman. The Dodgers have had the last 2 seasons just an incredible offseasons the last few seasons. Congratulations to the front offices in LA. Just incredible, honestly. It's just been incredible last few off seasons for the Dodgers. And there's a lot of guys saying that Alex Bregman could get $120 million from the Dodgers, which would fill up that spot, which we have Muncy at third base. And I don't think Muncy's good defensively at all. At all. I don't think Muncy's good defensively, so that would fill that spot. And then if you get rid of Muncy, get rid of Muncy. If you keep Muncy and get rid of Chris Taylor and some other guys, I'm fine with that. But there's going to need some spots filled because the Dodgers have 13 starting pitchers on their roster right now. And that's just starting pitchers. That's not including relievers and closers and stuff like that. So you have Tyler Glasnow, you have Alex Vesia, Blake Treinen, Tanner Scott, Evan Phillips, Michael Kopech, Kyle Hurt, you have Michael Grove, Bruce Gratterall. Oh, sorry, that's not a... 1 second. Let's just get the starting pitchers. 1 second. We are going to get the starting pitchers here first. Starter. Sorry. Yeah, so all the starting pitchers for the Dodgers. You have Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You have Justin Robleski. He pitched a little bit last season. You have Gavin Stone, Blake Snell, Emmett Sheehan, Roki Sasaki, River Ryan. You have Bobby Miller. You have Dustin May, Landon Knack, Edgardo Henriquez, which, again, I think he pitched a little bit last season. You have Tony Gonsolin, you have Tyler Glasnow, Alex Vesia, Alex Vesia will start and as a relief. He's a relief guy. But you have all these starting pitchers. What are the Dodgers gonna do? Are they gonna have a 13-man rotation? They need to figure something out. I'm glad. It's a good problem to have, but it creates a new problem of we don't have the space for all of these guys. There's only a certain amount of guys you can have in your roster, and if 13 of them are just starting pitchers, you need to send some guys to the bullpen. You need to trade some guys. You need to cut some guys. You need to demote some guys. I don't know what you got to do, but you got to do something like that. And then, again, with Alex Bregman, if the Dodgers sign Alex Bregman, that's just another spot that they're going to have to take away. So, yeah, it's a good problem to have, but it's a problem. It creates a new problem. Those are all the starting pitchers that the Dodgers have on their rosters as of January 26th at noon. The Mets revealed their new alternate road jerseys. My thoughts on them, I'm not a huge fan of them. I want to see them on the field first, see what the pants look like, the hats. But yeah, it seems like there's just too much blue, which I understand it's like a blue and orange kind of thing. I don't like that it's only the outline, because I feel like you wouldn't be able to see the New York number too well, just because the outline is too thin. But if it was, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm not a fan of it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't really have an opinion yet until I see them on the on the field. I'm going over some of the comments that are on the Mets social media when they announced this. Let's see. There's all sorts of stuff saying let's see Alonso in that jersey. Obviously, the Mets have not come up with an agreement with Alonso yet. These look so cheap is another comment. Didn't like it at first, but it looks good once worn. Okay, that's a little bit. That's kind of where I'm at. I want to see him on the field. All this to miss the playoffs. I need to see them in action before I give my final opinion. Kind of like what I said. These are going to look so good on the field. That's what MLB Fit said. When will they be available for purchase? Missed opportunity to bring back Gray with vintage scripts. Kind of like that idea. So those are just some comments of Mets fans basically going at it, saying what their thoughts on it all. All right, let's move on to some NFL news. The NFL in about 3 hours from right now, the conference championships will be held, and these are my thoughts. By the time this comes out, it may be after these games have been played, but this was recorded before the conference championship games. So you have the Eagles and Commanders, a little division matchup. Now, this is going to be an incredibly close game. I'm just going to go over their standings, see what they did in the regular season. Obviously, so the battle of the NFC East, you have the Eagles and you have the Commanders. The Eagles did do better in the regular season, but the Commanders kind of came through. The Commanders won their last 5 games in the regular season and obviously have not lost since. The Eagles won their last 2 and obviously have not lost since. But the Commanders, I think, might be able to sneak in there. I don't know this is going to be an incredibly, incredibly close game. I actually don't know the odds on this. It's got to be close, though. But I could see it both ways. I could see the Eagles. The Eagles obviously have more Super Bowl experience in the last few seasons than the Commanders. But the Commanders, man, they've just been hot lately. Will this winning streak come to an end for the Commanders? I don't know. It's going to be an incredibly close game in my opinion, but I think that the Eagles will make it to the Super Bowl. That is my final prediction. I just made it up right then, right there. The Eagles. I just think that the Commanders, yes, they have won a lot recently, but all good things must come to an end for the Commanders, and the Eagles have more experience in the playoffs. So give me the Eagles. I think that the Eagles will become your NFC champions. And then on the AFC is going to be another good game. It's the exact same AFC championship as last season. You have the Bills and you have the Chiefs. Again, another really close game. It's being played in Kansas City. The Chiefs are favored by 2, but I've been saying this since November 20th, 2023. We're in 2025. November 20th, 2023, go back to the podcast. I said that the Bills were going to win the Super Bowl this season, and I am still holding on to that. So I think that the Bills will become the AFC champions and will face off against the Eagles in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. So those are my predictions. Bills, Eagles, Super Bowl 58. Tune in to see it. Can't wait. Like I said, Super Bowl is 2 weeks away. these are going to be two great games. These two are, no matter the matchup, no matter if it's Bills-Eagles, Bills-Commanders, Chiefs-Eagles, Chiefs-Commanders, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game no matter what. The Super Bowl is going to be... I think that the AFC wins the Super Bowl no matter what. I think that the AFC will win. The Bills or Chiefs are... I think the Bills and Chiefs are better than the Eagles and Commanders. I think it goes... I think this is the ranking for the best teams left in the playoffs. I think it's Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Commanders. So I think even if it's like Chiefs, Eagles, I think that the Chiefs will win. So I think that the AFC will win either way. We'll see what happens. But yeah, some more Super Bowl news came out. Kendrick Lamar announced that SZA would be alongside with him in the Super Bowl halftime show. What songs are they going to see? As a Dodgers fan, I personally want to hear They Not Like Us. Because the Dodgers social media campaign when facing the Padres of They Not Like Us, absolutely hilarious. To ticked off the Padres fans. It's just hilarious. I just like that song because of that. Because of the Dodgers playoff campaign of They Not Like Us. So yeah, good job, Dodgers social media for making me like that song. And every time I hear that song, I think of the Dodgers winning the World Series. More MLB news. Pete Carroll is officially the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. As a Seahawks fan, I have mixed emotions about it. You said that you wanted to leave. Pete Carroll said that, yeah, I'm gonna retire. I'm done with football. Proceeded to teach at USC, which apparently he's still going to be a professor there during the regular season. Not quite sure how that's going to work, but they'll figure it out. But yeah, mixed emotions on it. You say you retired and then you come back. Not a fan of that. But I do kind of get it. You see it with Belichick too. These coaches say that they're going to retire, and then once NFL players are more in the MLB, once MLB players retire, they come back and become managers. But yeah, once managers retire, they don't really have anything to go. So I think he just likes the game, which you can't hate him for it. But he has some work to do. They don't really have a quarterback right now. So will Russell Wilson reunite with Pete Carroll in Las Vegas? I hope so. I don't think they're going to be any good. I think that they're 10 years washed. And, yeah, I think both of them. Not a fan of either of them really right now. But, yeah, you know, I kind of want to see Wilson and Carroll back together. I think that'll be kind of special. More MLB news. We're going to go back into MLB. MLB Pipeline announced their top 100 MLB prospects, and we're going to go over some stats and stuff like that. So Roki Sasaki is at number 1. He is the number 1 prospect in the MLB right now. But more I wanted to go into is the stats between the ages and positions and where they were born and when they're going to make their debut, draft versus international, all of this other stuff I want to go into. So by age, out of the top 100 prospects in the MLB, there is only one that's 17. It looks like the majority is about in their very, very early 20s. There are 26 guys in the top 100 that are 21 years of age, the oldest being 25 years old. Again, it's kind of a perfect graphic. All goes around 21. It's about 21 years of age, which, again, that's like that every year. By position, there are 24 shortstops that are in the top 100 prospects. Again, shortstop's a very important position. Some could say the most important position in the infield. So shortstop, you have 24. Right-handed pitchers, you have 19. Obviously, Sasaki being one of those. You have 18 outfielders, 13 catchers, 8 second basemen, 6 first basemen. Only 6 left-hand pitchers, and then only 3 infielders. They basically could play anywhere in the infield, and then 3 third basemen. Let's go by birthplace. So 75% of the top 100 MLB prospects were born in the U.S. I'm not great at geography and my flags and stuff. I'm not going to lie about that. I know some of these flags up here. One of them's Australia. You got the one Japan for Sasaki. So I know some of these flags, but I don't know all of these flags. I'm not going to lie. When are these guys set to make their debuts? 45 of them are supposed to In 2025, you have 33 in 2026, 14 in 2027, and then obviously like the 17, 18, 19-year-olds are projected to go in 2028. This is a very, very important stat for me in these prospects, especially seeing the last like 20 years in the MLB with a lot of foreign guys signing. You have draft versus international. 75% of these top 100 prospects did get drafted. Are from the draft, and then 25 are international, including Roki Sasaki and all these guys like that. So I like seeing that number, but those are basically your outline of the top 100 prospects according to MLB Pipeline. Can't wait to see how these guys perform, and if any of you guys if you guys know any of these prospects, tell them to hit us up. We have some plans with some young guys in professional sports. We have some, we're kind of interacting with some of them, and then we have a plan that we're going to do with all of them together. So if you guys happen to know any of these prospects, let us know in our DMs or email us at the HatTrick Sports Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us there. All right, let's move on to the top 5 not MLB, what am I saying? Let's move on to the top 5 NFL game times in the Eastern time zone. So obviously you have all sorts of like times for games. Like you have Sunday at 1 o'clock. Again, this is all Eastern time zone. I live in the East Coast. You got to respect that. It sucks being a sports fan living in the East Coast, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do. So at number 5, you have Monday Night Football. Game start at 8:15. You know what? It's Monday. You hate Mondays. Not everybody likes Mondays. And then you got to relax. The reason why it's at number 5 is because it's so late in the night. Obviously, you just started the work week. It's 8:15. You got school. You got work. You got all sorts of stuff in 12 hours. And you don't really want to, like, you're tired. You're tired. So that's why it's at number 5. Still a great game time because, like I said, you're coming home from work. And obviously, what's better than a Monday? Okay, how do I phrase this? Not a lot of good things about a Monday, but one good thing is Monday Night Football. At number 4, you have the 1 p.m. on Sundays. It's just that. That's when most of the games happen on 1 p.m. on Sundays. Why it's at number 4 and not at number 1 is because there's a lot of games on. You got to focus on 9 games, and so yeah. But it's there. It's what NFL is known for. NFL is known for their 1 o'clock Sunday games. So that's why it's at number 4. And number 3, making podium, Thursday Night Football, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time zone. You've gone 3 days without watching football. What are you supposed to do? And then finally, Thursday comes, and Thursday Night Football is here. Why it's at number 3 and not number 1 is, again, the time. It's at 8:15 at night. You're trying to go to bed soon. You got stuff to do in the morning. You still got Friday. But it's at number 3. It made podium. At number 2, you have 4:25 on a Sunday afternoon. Not a lot of games on. Most of the games are done. The 4 o'clock games are still going on. But by the time they hit halftime, your games are still going on. So 4:25 gets the runner-up. But number 1, the greatest NFL game times in the East Coast is their 4:05 Sunday games. The 1 o'clock games are just winding down in the ending. The adrenaline, and it's at an all-time high. Those 1 o'clock games are ending. These games are starting. There's not nearly as much games on as the 1 o'clock games, so you can kind of focus on each game individually, and that is why it's at number 1. Those are your top 5 NFL game times, and let me know what you guys think. All right. Let's move on to our sponsored segment. W Energy has been long partners with HatTrick Sports a few months now. Make sure you go to w.gg, get whatever you want. You got tubs, you got packs like this, you got water bottles, you got shakers, you got all sorts of stuff. It's great. It's better for you than other energy drinks. There's no like crash or jitters or none of that stuff like that. So, if you go to HatTrick Sports, you get 10% off your order. What's better than 10% off your order? Nothing. All right. So, thank you, W, for your continued partnership. Let's move on to my favorite segment, Hall of Fame, yay or nay. All right, Hall of Fame, yay or nay, we're doing something a little bit different. We are doing Roki Sasaki. So Sasaki just signed with the Dodgers a couple weeks ago. He has not played in the MLB at all. We don't really have we don't have any MLB stats of him. We have some Japanese stats. So we're gonna project, do we think that he will be an MLB Hall of Famer in 20 years? or do we think that he's going to be a bust? We don't know. So we're going to go over some of his Chibalate, his Japanese league stats. In 2024, he had a 2.35 ERA. He went 10-5. He gets a lot of Yamamoto numbers. His numbers in Japan look a lot like Yamamoto's numbers in his first season in the MLB. So yeah, not too optimistic about that. But in the World Baseball Classic, Roki Sasaki did absolutely amazing. So it's a nay. I don't, just because, just comparing him like that, I just don't think that that Sasaki will be in the Hall of Fame, but we'll see. Again, I'm judging off of someone who's never pitched in the MLB or the competition or anything like that. So it is a nay for now. Thank you guys for watching the 83rd episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, wherever else you can find us. You can listen to podcasts anywhere you listen to podcasts, including YouTube for all the visuals. And we see you guys next week for episode 84.